I reckon I could run a marathon.
For those who have followed me for quite a while, firstly, apologies for wasting so much of your life.
There's probably quite a few people who don't actually understand what I do for a living.
Right, good morning and welcome back to the YouTube. Moving a little bit deeper into the off-season now. Today I'm going to take you through like a typical day in the life of a mediocre, poor excuse for an Ifbb Pro. You've already kind of seen the morning routine, which has been consistent since prep. Few changes, but effectively get up. Today's Tuesday, so it's my check-in day. So I did my check-in, sent that off to Kyle this morning. I get up about 5:30, 6 a.m.-ish every day still, which sounds super hardcore and early and disciplined, but in reality, I just go to bed at like 8:30, 9 p.m. Reason being is my girlfriend, she's still in prep. She's 6.5 weeks out now, so like she's just going to bed pretty early anyway. So we end up just getting in fucking bed, watch a bit of TV, and I just fall asleep really easily, which is great. So I just go to bed mega early, which is why I get up early. There's no other reason real apart from that. So yeah, get up about that, do my check-in, and then I do my hour of, we'll call it fasted cardio. My heart rate sits at probably about 115 for the duration, so it's pretty low intensity cardio. Pretty much just walking, do about 6,000 steps. Primarily just for routine, like it is programmed for I think about 45 or 50 minutes of cardio at a 120 BPM heart rate. On a rest day, I will push it a little bit harder just to get the heart rate a little bit higher. But on a training day like today, I don't. But it's more so for routine. Like if I just get up and do that sort of hour on the treadmill initially, it just sets my day up right. Like that routine and that structure, it just has to happen for me. Like fasted cardio is such an integral part of both my prep and my off season. I find that when that goes, everything then starts to go. You know, I'll start getting up later. Meals will get pushed back. I'll struggle to eat, and it all just falls apart. Really, I start training later. Whereas, like if I just keep that cardio, it wakes me up straight away. Keeps my routine locked in, so that I know that once I finish that, then I do my spinal decompression on the inversion table, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then I'm pretty much ready for meal one, and it's coming up to about 7:30 now, so it like just aligns really nicely. Then I eat my first meal, sit down for my morning work block. Then, depending on what day it is, I'll either go and train pretty early, or I'll eat my second meal and have my pre-workout meal then. Today, I'm just going to do the 1 meal pre-workout because it's legs, so I like to eat quite a while before I train. Otherwise, I feel horrendously unwell and possibly throw up. So yeah, that's kind of my routine. The reason I've bought an inversion table, that is a new addition, is for those who have followed me for quite a while. Firstly, apologies for wasting so much of your life. But you'll also remember that I've suffered with sciatica quite badly in the past, and it more so affects me post-show, typically because the scale would increase quite a lot and there'd be a lot of inflammation and added weight and water retention that would be pressing on the fucking nerve, which would be causing the issues. This year, you know, I'm 8 weeks post-show and about 15 pounds up, so it's been a very, very steady, gradual reverse out. The best I've ever managed it, which is great, but just as I start to get heavier, naturally that does become more of an issue anyway. As I start to train harder and train heavier, again, that can become an issue. So sort of trying to be proactive with it this year. And typically for me, the number one thing for my sort of lower back health is just decompressing my spine by hanging from a bar. Even for shoulder health as well. Like anyone who's got dodgy shoulders or a dodgy lower back, just start doing dead hangs. I promise you, do dead hangs pre-workout, post-workout. It will make such a difference, weirdly. And it's so hard to explain why, but it's kind of just that decompression of the spine. It helps so many different factors. Like it's like one of the number one things you can do for shoulder health. Because, quick backstory on that, is we obviously evolved, if that's what you believe in, but according to science, we evolved. And back in the day, like we used to swing from trees and that. So our shoulder health is naturally meant to be up here. And then nowadays we're like this sort of fucking laptop all day, which is why shoulders become quite unhealthy. Whereas if you just hang from them, it's very good for strengthening them and very good for the health. And that comes from the number one shoulder expert in the world. But yeah, that inversion table is great for that. So it means I don't have to hang from a bar. And obviously I've not got a bar at home, so being able just to hang upside down every morning, it also means I don't have to focus on grip strength and all that bollocks. I can literally just hang and let everything decompress. Obviously, typically inversion tables are used for people trying to get a little bit taller, but that's only present for like a week after using it, and you've got to be pretty fucking on top of it. So if I were using it for that, because you know next year to make weight I may have to try. I think my height is now set, but just in case. I'll probably be on the inversion table anyway. So yeah, that's where we're up to. I need to get my pre-workout meal together. This is not a full day of eating. One of those will be coming because food has now increased. But we're up to about 4,000 calories on a training day now. So yeah, a training day is 4,000 calories, 305 grams of protein, 500 grams of carbs, and 87 grams of fat. And then a non-training day, 3,200 calories, 300 grams of protein, 280 grams of carbs, and 100 grams of fat. So, you know, the rest day's still relatively low. Training day's getting to the point where I'm not constantly thinking about food. I'm still very hungry. I have one free meal a week, so one off plan a week in there still. And the main difference with the food this year versus all my other years is the fat content is just way higher. Typically before peak off season when food's been the absolute highest, my fat on a training day is not going above 50 grams, which is low. I've always kept it low, and I've just pushed carbs to like well over 1,000 grams daily. Kept protein about 320, its max. So really the main difference is just higher fats, lower carbs for now. Obviously as food goes up, I don't think fats will get too much higher. Probably 120 on a rest day I think would be the cut-off, and maybe 100 on a training day would be the cut-off. And I'd rather than get carbs high because I do find that it massively benefits my training performance on higher carbs. And I do feel a little bit more lethargic running fats higher at this level. But I'm also intrigued to see what it's doing for my cholesterol, because it's a lot of healthy fats. You know, as I said, I'm not just going to be stuck in my ways and say to Carl, look, I want to run low fats, high carbs. That's what I've always done because I wanted to change. Similar to the training, I'm absolutely all ears to what he wants me to do with food, and just be an athlete and just listen basically. But I really do need to eat now because I'm getting pretty fucking ravenous. Meal one is rice pudding, frozen fruit, Leon cereal designer whey, plus all the morning supplements. Now, when this video goes live, there is currently, I think it's 20% off all vitamins at ESN. So we'll leave this here. I'm gonna go mix the pre-workout. I will show you the pre-workout meal after I've made it, nail that down. Then I've got some work to do, and then I need to go to the gym to train with Max. So that is currently what a morning looks like, basically. Cardio, mobility, shower, eat, take my vitamins, do some work, get to the fucking gym. There we go. It doesn't look very appetizing in this light. Let's see if we can get a torch on it. That still looks pretty sad. But it is probably one of, if not my favourite meal of the day. The rice pudding, a little bit of flavour powder, a bit of cinnamon, 2 grams of pink salt in there, frozen berries, and then Leon cereal designer whey paste on top. That is kind of the best bit. So if you've not tried Leon cereal designer whey, you have to get to it. Yeah, I'm going to nail this, and then I've got to start work. So there's probably quite a few people who don't actually understand what I do for a living. Okay, so main income that has been my main income for 4 years now will be coaching. So every single morning, my first work block, first thing I do when I sit down at my desk, about 8 a.m. to 8:30, depending on what time I get up for cardio, is client check-ins. So you can see here, got WhatsApp open on the left with all the check-ins for today. Then got all the client plans, which I'll open. I'll film Loom videos from the laptop here, making changes to their plan, talking through the changes I'm making, explain why I'm making those changes, and then ping that back over to them. So all clients will have their reply before I go and train. So everybody gets a reply before midday, most days. That's like my priority, my main way of making money and basically funding bodybuilding. Because for those who don't know, bodybuilding is not, there is certainly money to be made in the scene of bodybuilding, but from bodybuilding directly, there's fuck all money to be made. So that's how I've been lucky enough to sort of fund bodybuilding and get to the point I am. Obviously in recent years, sort of the sponsorship and influencer and content creation, this stuff has increased dramatically. And obviously then now I am getting paid from sponsors as well, which is a secondary income, which is great. So to everyone who uses code Eagles, thank you. Please keep doing it. I'm trying to get a mortgage right now and that's quite stressful. So the way I sort of structure my day is I do client check-ins in the morning, then I go and train, and then I get back, and then my sort of afternoon work block, if that's what you call, that's what I call it, will tend to be editing an Instagram, like reel, sort of some YouTube stuff, or meetings with
sponsors, other stuff. So this afternoon I've got 2 meetings, one with sponsors, one with a mortgage advisor, as I just said, trying to sort a house because I get kicked out of this place in August. So I need to try and get a mortgage together. Well, I'm making very good headway with the mortgage. I need to go and now try and find a house and put an offer in and get accepted and hope that all goes through in time. So yeah, I've got that meeting this afternoon as well. But that's kind of the way I structure it. So client check-ins is number one in the morning, because otherwise if I've got my WhatsApps, if I've got messages from clients waiting to be answered, when I go to train, all I can think about in my head is getting back to these people that are waiting, rather than actually being able to focus on my training. And, ultimately I am still a professional bodybuilder, right? That is like a full-time job, eating the meals, cooking the food and training properly. So I need to prioritize that as well. So I find the best layout for me personally is cardio in the morning, client work, then I can go and train with a nice clear mind, get that job done. And then when I come home and I'm absolutely fucking battered, it's just like a few meetings and a bit of editing and the sort of easier stuff, should we say. And that kind of works for me. And then in the evening will be sort of meal prep, pointless shit like cleaning the house, washing, maybe some more mobility work, some stretching, and then that's kind of it for the day. And that's pretty much more or less every day. And that's the structure I find works best for me. So obviously a lot of you watching this may have 9 to 5s and all that sort of stuff. You just have to find a structure that works for you. When's best to train, when's best to do your cardio, and then around that you can then build out what time you're going to get your meals in, when have you got a break at work where you can eat, when have you got your lunch break, all this sort of stuff. And then that'll create your structure, and then you just kind of follow that. And it's, bodybuilding is kind of a game of consistency and just being able to show up day in, day out and do the same fucking shit and do it to a high standard and not get bored of it and also not slack off. And it's the people that are consistent for years that are then, successful. So that's kind of it. So I've got a nice full WhatsApp to get through. So I'm going to start that and then catch you in 2 hours for mixing up some pre and intra. And then we're going to go bury legs. I probably will need to eat again, thinking about it now, because that was going to be, I'm not going to eat for about 2 hours before training legs, which probably isn't great. So I might have a couple of rice cakes or something. Work done, check-ins done, all bar one, because somebody checked in late, so that's gonna have to get done later. Now I need to get pre-workout together. It is 10:40, so I'm gonna head to the gym, get some mobility work done, and then have a lovely blood and gut session with Max. Right, pre and intra for leg days. I run a slightly different setup to normal. What I will grab is an electrolyte powder sachet. These also have 20 grams of carbs in to help with the actual uptake of the hydration. And so then I just top it up with the rest of my cyclodextrin to get the 35 grams that I need intra. But this obviously has the just full electrolyte complex in there as well, because typically with legs I can cramp, especially now it's nearing summer in the UK and it's getting warmer. So I just have one of these sachets every single leg day. Don't do it on upper days, don't see the need, never have any issues with cramping there. But this just helps with my performance in legs, because typically as well, legs is a bit of a longer session for myself, especially when I'm training with someone. With the electrolytes, so I go for a neutral flavour. I then also throw in a serving of blue raspberry elite aminos, which are the best aminos you can get. Also have some hydration complex in there as well. So we get all the hydration, no fucking cramping there. I only mix that with a litre of water on leg days purely because, where is my stick extra? Purely because I just can't drink that much liquid whilst I train legs, because I do end up feeling horrifically sick and don't really like throwing up. So yeah, that is the intra, which on all the days I find that I do get the most benefit from intra on leg days, just again because it is the largest muscle group and probably the longest session. So that's in there. And then pre-workout, I used to when I was younger, I'd like fucking load up on the highest stim pre-workout I could possibly get for legs, and I'd be absolutely like buzzing off my tits to go and train. Apparently I'm now just old because I just can't hack it if I have too much caffeine on a leg day. My heart rate's so high that I just feel ill the whole time. And again, then end up fucking
throwing up. What we're going to go for today, I'm going to nick M's pre-workout. So Crank Pump Pro. Obviously it's mine as well, but the reason I say M's is because this one's hers. She's got the cherry cola flavour, which is weirdly nice. I don't really like cola stuff that's not carbonated because it just normally tastes shit. This one tastes fantastic. So 2 scoops of M's flavoured pre today, and that will honestly be it. I had a monster this morning, so caffeine wise I'm pretty fucking good to go. Don't need any more. So that is the peri-workout set up right now. Post-workout, Max will probably come back here. He'll have his post-workout with him. I'll mix up my rice pudding, nail that, and that'll be that. I train legs today, tomorrow and Thursday, so it's Tuesday today. Wednesday, Thursday, I'm taking full rest days, and then Friday, I'm going to do some blood work. My post-prep, post-health phase blood work, where hopefully everything is green, fingers crossed. And then we'll head into the off-season. Well, then I'll send my blood work to Kyle, make sure he's happy with it. And then let him steer the ship and decide what the next plan is. Obviously, the next phase naturally is going to be a slightly more aggressive push-up, because body weight's still pretty stable. Still very lean, still very responsive. So still in a really good position, ready to push. I'm going to do a reel on this soon, sort of speaking about post-show and my philosophies and the way I think you should approach it for the most productive off-season, basically. Because like, I've done the whole thing before where you rebound post-show and you don't leave, anabolics high, like certainly not prep level, but you leave them at a pretty moderate dose for maybe 6 weeks, and you push food more aggressively and rebound out the show. And I find that you do that, and yeah, sure, the first few weeks after the show are fantastic. Training's great. You seem to put on a lot of size. Obviously, a lot of it isn't just muscle. And then you go into your health phase. You kind of hit a plateau with food, body weight progress. You get a lot softer then because food's a lot higher as you're in your health phase, so body fat accumulates a lot more easily. Then you get out to the other side of that when you're ready to start pushing, and it's like, by that point, body fat's already not in the greatest position to start a push-up. Food's already pretty high, appetite may not be the best, and I just find it sets the tone a bit off. Whereas this year, what I've done is immediately health phase after prep, keep food on the lower end, keep cardio nice and high, keep my body nice and responsive where like it's itching to grow almost. And then when we start to push up after the health phase is done, once I'm fully healthy, you can then taper up all things in accordance, and it seems to be a lot more productive and ultimately a lot healthier, because you're not extending that exposure time from that prep timeline. And that a lot of that is John Jewett's philosophy. He's made some really good posts about that as well. So I'm going to do a reel talking a little bit more in depth about that, but I've kind of just explained it. So yeah, that's what I've done differently this year, and something I've personally found fantastic. Yeah, okay, it was pretty tough post-show to stick to a diet and be so disciplined still, because obviously post-show you do just want to eat like shit. And I think it helps that this was my 5th ever prep, so I've got lots of experience doing this now and handling post-show. If you told me to do that after my first ever show, I'd probably have told you to fuck off, and I'd have gone and ordered 2 more Dominoes. So yeah, I think to be totally transparent, I think the experience helped a lot with that. And also to be, again, totally transparent, the fact it was a relatively underwhelming season and I wasn't overly happy. Well, I was very happy with Detroit, but I wasn't very happy with the fit world. And I wasn't happy with the way the season ended in terms of the injury and not being able to do FIBO. All of that kind of left a little bit of a... I don't know, it kind of felt unfinished. So I was like mentally pissed off, and therefore my ability to stay disciplined and punish myself more to a degree, my ability to suffer, if you want to use that word, was a lot higher because I was kind of pissed off and I had that fuel to the fire almost. Whereas when I turned pro and had a fantastic season, did 2 shows, won 2 overalls, and that was it done, it was like almost like one big celebration after prep. Just fucking relaxed, ate loads of food, and sure, do I regret it? No. I worked very hard to turn pro. It was 4 years of my life working towards that. When I eventually achieved it, I was very happy. So I think I deserved a little bit of downtime. But did it make for the best off-season following that? No. Okay, I was in a bit of a compromised position when it came to the push-up because I was 30 pounds up in 4 weeks. Not in bad condition, to be fair, because I didn't rebound per se, but like, yeah. This time's certainly been a lot healthier, a little bit harder to be more disciplined, but
I feel a lot better having done it now that I'm 9 weeks post-show and only like, 12, 15 pounds up depending on the day. So yeah, all in all, in a good position. Very excited to start the push-up. Very excited for what is to come. Oh, that's got my address on. Right. Now this looks staged. I also just realised I just answered the door with a fucking big clip-on mic on my head. And then this is for the bodybuilder. Right, so we've got a new Crank Pump Pro, which I believe may be out. Yes, so this comes out tomorrow. This video is not out till Sunday, so this is already out. As are... Oh, I thought that had a logo on it, it didn't. As are the energy gels. So we've got lemon ginger. That sounds shit. Green apple, that sounds very nice, and neutral. So I'm pretty sure these are just carb and electrolyte sachets, more so for like people who run marathons and shit. Maybe I'll use them when I run a marathon because I did say in a video before, and I still stand by this, right? I reckon I could run a marathon.
I don't think running a marathon is that hard.
Not well and not quickly, but I just think I could fucking plod at a horrendous pace, still running, but I could just plod through for like 6 fucking hours and get a marathon done with no training. I would probably go for a full inhaler though, and maybe get rhabdo by the end of it, but I think I could do it. Because I think for that, that's more just an endurance thing. That's just like how many screws do you have loose in your head? Like, give me a 6-hour fucking David Goggins loop on repeat.
Who's gonna carry the boat?
Of just him screaming in my ear saying, carry the fucking logs. I would carry those fucking logs for 26 point whatever miles it is. I think this is why, like, I don't know, it's probably quite a common trait in people who, I don't want to say successful people, but in people who, entrepreneurs, self-employed people, I feel like the pressure just to get work done is so massive. Like, I just struggle. I can't go and relax if I know I've got something like waiting to be done. I just have to do it first before I can then relax. Otherwise I can't relax. I just get like mad anxiety thinking about the fact I need to do work. And like, I'd say it's more of a blessing than a curse, to be totally honest with you, because it means I work quite hard. Whereas there's other people who procrastinate and struggle to get shit done. So, yeah, sure, I can't relax, but I can relax just once I've done the work. So it just forces me to basically do the work out of crippling anxiety. So yeah, that was great. But I'm going to get that done tonight and then mow the grass, which will be nice and therapeutic, and I'll be able to relax. It won't. I fucking hate mowing the grass. And that is going to conclude the video because it's coming up to 7:30 now. Going to eat my final meal and then take my evening sups and call it a day. I feel like this has been such a boring video, but it's like such an accurate look at what my life is actually like, because it is just cardio, check-ins, pretty much just cardio, training, eating meals and sitting here all day. I hit 12k steps for the day as well. So typically in the evening, right, it may be, instead of mowing the lawn, it may be meal prepping, plus then I'd do some steps on the treadmill to finish off. But because today was legs, and I did so many steps this morning as well, just through being busy, then Max and I as well. I hit my steps pretty easily, but sometimes in the evening I'll do a second lot of walking pad, just walking, just because I am so inactive throughout the day due to my job. As food gets higher and as I really struggle to eat, I will start to split those steps up a lot more evenly, meaning that I'll eat a meal and I'll do 10 minutes of steps after, because that makes a huge difference to digestion. Right now I'm still so hungry that I can just box off my steps in basically 2 segments, morning and night, and most of the time in the evening I'm busy enough anyway that I don't need to purposely go and get steps, because in the evening, if I'm not mowing the lawn, I'm either meal prepping, cleaning the house, going to the shops, do a food shop, like all of that fucking adult shit that I still have to do, annoyingly. So that is kind of my life right now. Very good, I can't complain, I'm very happy. So just in routine, this is pretty much it. I've got 2 rest days now, so I'll have a chance to get a little bit ahead on work. There's lots coming up. I'm pretty fucking busy. Lots of videos I need to plan, stuff behind the scenes I need to sort. Also, I'll get the agreement in principle hopefully tomorrow, meaning that I can start fucking going and viewing houses, which again just is a fucking ball ache, 'cause you've got to look for houses, find one you like, then speak to the fucking estate agents, get a viewing, and then go and view it, and then, yeah, it's just a long process, isn't it? I wish it was like GTA where you can just go on the fucking just cop a house like that. It'd be way easier. Sadly not though. But yeah, that is that. As I said, please do leave video suggestions that you want to see, and I'll get those done. As I do really want to push this YouTube during this off season with more interesting videos that aren't just training, that aren't just 4 days of eating, like more created content, like specific, like the bulking on a budget, that sort of shit. And some of the other ideas I had, like $100 cheat meal versus $10 cheat meal. Some more like, forceful content, if that makes sense, but a lot more interesting content because I enjoy making it, you guys enjoy watching it, so you might as well push that sort of stuff more. So yeah, that was that. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and I'll see you in the next video.